how do you really feel about Tua? Because that was a nice political answer. Yes, very nice to Tua. But when we're getting to the playoffs, when we're getting to a big game we need to win, where is the signature win where Tua has come back? What winning signature win do they have except against Dallas this year? Because you got blown out by Buffalo in Buffalo when you went
Yep.
there this season. And then when all you had to do was beat Buffalo and you would have been the 2 seed, you would have got to play the Steelers, potentially move on to the second round after that, but you end up losing to Josh Allen because Tua couldn't get out of his own way. As soon as Tyreek Hill was off the field, he threw an interception. How do you really feel about Tua? And can you win a Super Bowl with him? Because this is what we're talking about with the offseason preview. It's like, what does a team like the Dolphins need to do to get to a Super Bowl? And it's not pay Tua, it's look elsewhere.
You know what they really should do? They should trade Tua because some team out there, maybe it's a Carolina Panthers figure, maybe not the Panthers directly, but a team that doesn't care about their future nearly as much. The Dolphins, they went out and they traded their draft capital to get Jalen Ramsey, to get Tyreek Hill, to get Bradley Chubb. And for Tua, he's a guy who I think definitely puts the team back a little bit because you have Josh Allen in your division. You even have Aaron Rodgers in your division. And the Patriots, who knows who they get in the draft? Maybe they get the right guy in the draft and they have a great quarterback. Imagine they get somebody like a Jaden Daniels and he pops. You're talking about a guy who could potentially be the worst quarterback in that division, and he's going to be commanding $40 million. So
Yeah.
would I pay Tua if I'm the Dolphins? No, I would not. So you want my non-political answer? Don't pay Tua. Trade Tua. You don't have draft picks. Go ahead and get a couple of picks in return for Tua, and then go out and try to, if you can, maybe try to sign a quarterback. Maybe go after Justin Fields if you can. But one way or another, Tua is not going to bring you to the promised land.
No, Tua's not going to bring you to the promised land, especially when you're this handicapped. And then also, it's like, I don't want to hear another word about look at how many yards this offense racks up when you can't do it against good teams. I don't want to hear about how good your run game is when you're blowing 14-point leads in the fourth quarter of Monday Night Football in Miami to a guy who puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Like this shit like that isn't going to fly next year, and your opportunity to win the division was last year. Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Jaden Daniels is hopefully going to the Patriots. If not Jaden Daniels, it's going to be someone like Drake May or Baker Mayfield, but someone who's better than Tua, so you'll probably have easily the worst quarterback in your division. I don't care how many yards he puts up if he doesn't do it against good teams and he doesn't pull through when you need him to. So Miami got to figure out a lot of things, and right now, honestly, positivity wise, on the scale of 100 to 1 right now, 100 being the most positive and 1 being the lowest, I'm about a 45% for the Miami Dolphins going into next season.
I'm going to put it at a lower. I'm going to put it around 25 to 30 because of how bad their cap situation is, because of how top heavy that team is, because of how many players they're going to lose on defense with that amount of cap space, and the fact that they might potentially pay Tua. I think that they're in a situation where they can be stuck pretty quickly. We saw a team like the Giants who they had a little bit of success with Daniel Jones. They decided to pay him a bunch of money, out of pocket amount of money, $40 million annually for Daniel Jones. I'm not sitting here saying that Tua is nearly as bad as Daniel Jones, but similar situation where you're in a situation where you want to win a Super Bowl, and Tua's a guy who's not going to he's never, at the peak, he might win you a playoff game, and that's if he faces a very impoverished team in that last round. So
Yeah, like he could have faced the Steelers, but no.
the Steelers, maybe. Mason Rudolph, anything can happen. But I don't think he's going to bring them anywhere close to the promised land when you have to compete with Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson in that same conference.